What do you got for me?
What's wrong with you people?
I got nothing for you.
What's wrong?
You're not David. How do y'all feel this morning? I feel rotten. That's how I feel. Well, that was enough for me. We could have had the benediction right there. That was so good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to The Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church. And we are your local churchmen. My name is Josh, and I'm here, as always, with the captain, Jack Barry. Jack, it's good to be with you, my man. It is. We're coming to the end of August. Fall's coming up. The best season, the best time of the year. Everything's coming up. Everything's coming up roses on this side, man. Preached on oaths out of Matthew 5.
Nice.
This past Lord's Day, so that was fun. And then another one of our elders is taking this next week, and then I'm on the week after that, preaching on loving your enemies.
Oh boy!
So,
yeah, man,
oh yeah, wham bam.
Yeah, that'll
left,
be interesting.
Right, left. Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
It's gonna be
good. Yeah, we had baptisms this last Sunday.
Okay,
that was good. 2 people got baptized.
Awesome.
Then we had a church picnic in a park that was close to the school, so that was nice as well too. So pretty relaxing Lord's Day.
That's awesome.
Nothing crazy. So I'm getting I'm preparing to go on my long overdue paternity leave here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'll get 3 weeks off. So it'll be nice.
Nice.
Starting by the time we're recording this, starting next week, I'll get 3 weeks off. So
okay.
Fun times.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Looking forward to that. And then you'll go on paternity leave, come back to work for a little bit, and then we're off to the Pactum conference.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's gonna be awesome.
I actually that'll be a crazy week because a couple days before that, I'll have to go down to San Diego for a work trip. That's like a turn and burn. So it's like I go down there that Tuesday. Yeah, that Tuesday, and then I'll come back Wednesday evening.
That's awesome.
And then on Friday, I'm leaving the Pactum.
You're gonna be so dead, dude.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Have we figured out what we're doing for like the car situation yet?
No, we haven't.
No, I feel like there's some details.
Or even where we'll rest our heads for that whole conference. So we got to figure that out. But
100%. Yeah. So okay, all right. Well, yeah, we got some stuff to figure out. We will. It'll be fine. It's gonna be just fine. So, but really looking forward to Pactum Conference. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing all of our folks there as well. It's just gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a real good time. So, Jack, my man, we've got great stuff to talk about today. Exciting stuff to talk about today. But as always, we got to get to everyone's favorite segment. Don't forget to eat your instant grams.
And now's the time you've all been waiting for. The Reformatory Podcast presents Don't Forget to Eat Your Instant Grams with your hosts, Josh Loftus and Jack Barry. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough.
This is Don't Forget to Eat Your Instagrams. Remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough. That's how it works these days. And boy, Jack, is that how it works these days. Too many pastors out here trying to be relevant, trying to connect with the kids. And they just end up being an old fogey, up there in the pulpit, man, doing shenanigans like this.
On Psalm 67, man, that was like a moment. Teenagers, kids, what? This should be y'all's best sermon of the whole summer. 67, man.
And then he tries to play it off. He's like, guys, this is your fault. This is your fault that it didn't land. Not my fault for being a 40-year-old youth pastor that's trying to be relevant with the kids. This is your fault that this didn't land. So, we shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do this. Yeah.
Stop
let's not
this.
do this. You know what we should also stop, Jack? This is legitimate. We need to stop with the anointings. We need to stop with churches like cover this guy. Just watch what's about to happen here. Okay, so for our audio only listeners, how do I describe this? For our audio only listeners,
imagine you're at Chick-fil-A and they bring out the fryer of oil.
Yeah,
and it's cold oil.
Yeah.
And an employee tells you to get on your knees while they douse you in that oil. That's what's going on right now.
This guy's got what looks like you know those like home organizers in your pantry that have the little drawers in them. That's what this guy is holding. It's this guy. He's in a I'm assuming very expensive suit, and he has this man who is kneeling down in a white robe, and he's praying over him, and you hear some guy go, in 3, and he goes, yes, in 2, yes, in 1, yes, and he dumps this entire bucket. Like, it's not just a little. Like, this guy tosses, like, there's enough oil in this bucket to toss every salad in Olive Garden for an entire day, and he pours the entire thing over this guy. This guy is drenched in oil. And like, I understand churches we'll do like a little bit of oil because the Bible says anoint their head with oil, pray over them, things like that. This is a little much. We have to have some middle ground between nothing at all and literally all the oil that we could find at Safeway. And I feel like that's where we're at.
All the oil
here.
We can find in Safeway.
So, yeah, just stop anointing people, guys. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Yeah,
it's the cleanup. You're not getting that out of your clothes. Too, your clothes are ruined at that point. Anyway, there's a lot there. Jack, my man, we're talking about education today. We're talking about equipping pastors. We're talking about the expectations that should be there for a man if he is going to step into the office of pastor, and what it is good and prudent for him to have under his belt training wise. Now, we're gonna click on a video here by a guy named Mark Ward, who's actually a local. He's a big YouTube guy. His specialty is like Bible translations. Isn't that his thing?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I think that's his thing. We had him speak at our church once, and I wasn't there for that Sunday, so I forget what he talked about. But anyway, he's a local guy, and looks like he's doing an interview with Reformed Baptist Seminary, and they're talking about the need for education for those that are going into pastoral ministry. So we're going to play
Baptist
this
Network. Sorry, Reformed Baptist Network.
Reformed Baptist Network. Yes. Thank you. So we're gonna play this, and we're gonna kind of use this as a springboard off into the wild blue yonder of conversation here.
This all reminds me to put in a plug, not just for Reformed Baptist Seminary, because I'm on the same team with every good seminary. Go and get good education before you go into pastoral work, because I spent fully 10 years going half-time to school, working half-time. I don't say everybody has to do that, but a good 5 years for an MDiv, something like that, maybe more if you got other jobs going. Because I put in all that time, I'm able to handle those circumstances in which, for example, it's Sunday at 3 p.m. and my pastor, this actually happened to me, calls me and says, I'm sorry, the flu that I thought was a cold means I just cannot even stand up in front of the congregation tonight at 6 p.m. and preach a sermon. So I've got between 3 and 6 to make a half-hour trip to get myself ready and to prepare a sermon. That gives me max 2 hours to do it if I start right that instant. What am I doing? I am relying on years of education.
Okay. All right. So that's the clip. And from the outset, I want to say that I think we have to understand that clip in context, right? He's talking about Reformed Baptist Seminary. Of course, he's going to give the plug. That's, it's good and prudent. You're right. That's what you're doing, right? I don't disagree with what he says. Let's go ahead and start there. I don't disagree with what he says. I think there are too many men that go into the pastorate flippantly and kind of shun the idea of education, shun the idea of training to their detriment and to the detriment of the congregation. Right? I think seminary is really is a good option for individuals who are not self-disciplined, who need the structure of a seminary to provide that training and that learning, and who maybe aren't as keen on doing the training or the readings for themselves, right? I think seminary can be a good option for that. I am thankful for the years of schooling that I went through that helped me. Again, the example that he used, I think, is a very good example of how structured training can help you, because there are going to be times where you are called to do something just like he said, like, hey, you got to put this talk together in an hour, right? Having trained tools in your tool bag as a pastor that give you the ability to do something like that is extremely helpful. And that's where formal training can be a great help, is it gives you the structure of how to put a sermon together, because that structure, no matter what your timeline is, that structure's still there, right? And you can utilize that structure. The sermon just might not be as long, or it might not be as in depth, but it will be structured. It will be something that is able to be delivered effectively, and the word will be expounded upon, right? It gives you the tools to do that. Mm-hmm. What seminary does not do, and this is something that we've maintained on this podcast, and this is something that I've said, is seminary does not make you a pastor. Nor would I say seminary makes you a better pastor, right? When we look at the qualifications given in the Word of God, those qualifications are the conduct and the character of the individual, right? Going to seminary does not, I would argue, does not prepare you to be a pastor, nor is it the thing that makes you a pastor. Right? Because I believe that the primary role of the pastor is to shepherd the people. Yes, through the exposition of the Word of God, the observance of the sacraments, and then soul care, right? Shepherding them, caring for them, guiding them, exhorting them. Now, seminary can help with those things, but let's be very clear, there are a lot of seminary trained men in the role of pastor that should not be in that role. Yeah, because their character does not match the qualifications given in Scripture, right? Yeah. So, Jack, we have this kind of these two truths that I think are really, really important to hold together. Seminary is not bad, and it's not something that should be shunned, as I think some flippantly do. Training is good, right? Mm-hmm. We need training, but also the question on the other side is seminary the only place or the only context in which a man who's seeking to either enter into the pastorate, or maybe you're in the pastorate now and you're looking to, sharpen your skills, hone those talents a little bit to be able to be more effective in your communication, in your preparation, in your delivery, right? All of those things. Is seminary the only route for that? And if not, what would we, as the Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church, suggest to that individual?
Yeah, I would say, like Josh was saying, I don't think seminary is necessarily an evil, but I think we are not majoring on the majors, so to say, when it comes to theological training. And it should be the fact that your local church should be your primary source for theological training. And a seminary should be a backup for things. And that could be anything from, to be quite honest, maybe some type of apologetics training, church history training, something along those lines, maybe even like textual training. But I think the ways in which we interact with our congregation, shepherd our congregation, preach the word should primarily be training that your local church should be doing with trained and qualified men. Mm-hmm. And so I say that because I think within the last, I don't know, I think honestly, probably around the time of the Reformation and then slowly degrading from there on out, I think slowly the church has kind of given up that authority to the local churches have given up that authority to own that training, and they just kind of farmed it out to institutions. And I would say that those institutions, as well as they may produce qualified students, are not going to produce pastors who are going to shepherd your people and know how to do that effectively in the context that you're in. And so I think that's where I'm coming from, to be quite honest. I don't have anything with what Mark said. I do have an issue that it's only through seminary that you can get that training.
Yeah.
It's only through that you can be prepared to deliver a sermon. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I have 2 or 3 different nonprofits that I attend their seminars, and I don't need to go to a seminary to produce a good exegetical sermon because I know those tools that they've given me in that seminar are going to produce an outline that's going to help people go back to the text and understand the text and then apply that text into their Christian faith.
Sure.
So that doesn't take a seminary degree to figure out. And that was through a conglomerate of local churches and a local church a local church that was hosting that event, a local church that basically you could do a lot of networking with other pastors to gather together, pastors and church leaders, in order to equip you. So I think just the emphasis of, you need to go to seminary to get that training, that's a little bit reduced, in my opinion, versus what's out there and what can be done. I just think that local pastors should be encouraged to start training men in their local church to develop them more and more.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is that maybe some pastors are going to say, I'm not equipped enough, or where do I start, or who do I talk to, or whatnot. And I think, honestly, it's just taking that first step of like gathering. Hopefully you have other elders with you,
right?
Gathering with your local elders and saying, hey, what do we need to do to train up men to preach the word, to be good deacons, to hopefully find some good candidates for elder pastor roles here, to hopefully maybe plant a church if your church is growing that much. So I think that the emphasis should be back on the local church versus farming that out and, shipping that off. And so I think that's what I really want to go forward with, because I think it's really important that we emphasize the local church and emphasize your pastors are seeing something in you that maybe you just saying that you're going to seminary is not like you just going to seminary is not going to produce an elder or pastor, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems with a lot of seminaries, not all of them, but with a lot of seminaries, is that they'll let anybody in. They'll let they'll let any guy in without any type of pastoral recommendation at all. And I think that's a problem, right? Because I do think that if you are entering seminary in order to be a pastor, if that's the desire, that should be affirmed by the elders of your church, right? Right. You need the desire, you need the gifting, and then you need the affirmation, right, of your spiritual authority, right? The elders in your church, right? I still think that is good and prudent for anyone who's wanting to go into the pastorate. And I think what's important to note is that, again, education is necessary. It's valuable. But the things that caused me in my, my time in ministry and going forward in my time in ministry, the things that I have found have equipped me to be the most effective when caring for the souls of of those that God has entrusted to me to care for. Those things were not learned in seminary. Those things were learned from watching, observing, and being poured into by faithful men who have been doing the work longer than me, right? 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. Like this, I think, is the template right here, where he says to Timothy, he says, "You then, my child, be strengthened by the grace that is in Christ Jesus, and what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also." So what you see here is that passing of the torch, right? That equipping and passing on, that domino effect of Paul pouring into Timothy, Timothy pouring into the men in his church, those men pouring it, and so forth and so on. And here we have us now, who are the recipients way down the line of what Paul had entrusted to Timothy and what Timothy had entrusted to faithful men, right? So when we speak of the gates of hell not prevailing against the church and the advancement of the gospel in every age, this is the primary means in which God is utilizing to do that as his people, right? So when we talk about the necessary training needed to be effective in pastoral ministry, I think you split those into two things. I think you split those into the realm of soul care and shepherding, and then I would say the practical I don't want to say administration, but the more practical skills, right? How to put a sermon together, how to best outline, how to best utilize commentaries, how to best dive into the original languages to bring out the meaning of the text that you're in, right? Those are kind of the two halves. Seminary is really great for that half, but I would say the most effective thing for the shepherding side, the caring for the souls, is just doing the work. I've often equated pastoral ministry to a trade because it's very similar in that the most effective journeymen are the ones that didn't just go to school, but they were apprentices. Yeah, they studied under the journeyman, right? Yeah, they studied under the skilled hands that have been doing it 20, 30, 40 years. And they learn on the job the ins and outs of the trade. Those make the best electricians. Those make the best plumbers. That's just how it goes. It's the same in pastoral ministry. If we want effective men in that role, in the counseling room, in the pulpit, at the kitchen tables, caring for the people, the way that you are going to get that is not by just relying on seminary to churn out, right, the best pastors that the next generation of pastors. If you want an effective pastor, look for someone who has been trained by his elders to be that. If you are a church looking for a pastor, the first place that you should be looking is among your own membership, because you want someone that knows the people. You want someone that has lived with the people, knows the sorrows and the joys of the people, right? Seminary will help you with the practical skills, but actual on the job training is what makes you an effective pastor, right? And I don't think Mark Ward would disagree with that. Again, this is a very short clip that we use just to kind of launch this conversation, right? And I think out of all the seminary, like Reformed Baptist Seminary is a great seminary. Like, it really is. If you're gonna like, they're doing great work there. Just realize, right, that you can't just come out of seminary and boom, I'm ready to be a pastor.
Yeah.
I think the best case, and I want to hesitate. Like I'm hesitant to call it this because I don't think I'm willing to go this far. Like, there's a part of me that wants to categorize seminaries as a necessary evil because local churches aren't in a lot of ways doing what they're supposed to do. I don't think I'm willing to go that far, but I do think that seminaries would be a lot less needed if we would take more seriously the training that can and should be done within our local churches. Now, I understand there are very specialized skills that people go to school for to become very proficient in order to train other people. I'm not against that at all. I think that is very valuable. I just think that we can do a better job at equipping churches, right, to do those things. Than simply just holding it, not holding it hostage, but holding it as this happens here, this happens on campus, and then we send you out. I think some of the best seminaries, and I'm pretty sure, to my knowledge, I think RBS does this. They work in tandem with local churches for their education. I think that's best case scenario. That's awesome because then you can utilize the skills and the proficiency and the time that men like Mark, right, have put into being very specialized at a skill. But instead of just holding that on a seminary level and saying, okay, if you want access to this, then you got to pay all this money and go to churches and help equip those elders to then be able to equip the men in their church and the next generation that will replace them in their local church. That's what I think would be best case scenario. And hopefully we're starting to see a trend that churches are going more that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think too, that would be even if some seminary, even if like, I would say big-ish seminaries, if we would start to, if I were to see them start to actually go into communities or have regional kind of centers in which they're doing more work with local churches more and more, and I'm seeing that more and more.
Yeah.
I think I would maybe trust those seminaries a little bit more. And if they're doing that, that's great. But I feel like the local church is a buzzword. Every time I see sometimes seminaries use, we're for the local church. Why aren't I seeing you guys in my community then? If you're for the local church, shouldn't you have regional places, or at least maybe even not regional, maybe even like places within your state or reps within your state that are either doing training or kind of organizing pastors within that area to get together to start doing this? Or I think that's the stuff that I wish more seminaries would start to do, because I feel like it's just very much kind of attractional. You need to come to us to get this.
Sure. And I think a lot of seminaries, whether they're trying to do that or not, do kind of give off that vibe. Yeah.
So I think that's the issue that I have. I wish more seminaries would have certain regional centers in which this wouldn't be an issue where you have to fly. I mean, this is the same case in which we talk about where some of our friends that we know are in the SPC. to go to an SBC annual meeting costs an arm and a leg, to be quite honest, because the location changes constantly. You have to pay for flight, for your hotel, for meals. You have to pay for X amount of messengers that you're going to send with your local church. I think based upon the size of it, if I'm not mistaken, it could just be your pastor as your messenger and that's it. But I think more bigger local churches start to get more into that. Like you have to have X amount of messengers per church of a certain size.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that would be a lot better, but I think it's baked into their constitution that you wouldn't have a regional SBC meeting anymore.
Sure.
And so I feel like that's a big demerit to the institution of the SBC, because now you're not democratizing your own denomination, in which you should be. And you're not really helping local churches in certain regions that are a little bit tougher to get to.
Sure.
So, yeah, I wish that more seminaries did that. And I wish it wasn't about the business component, you can say, and the institutional component, you can say, of seminaries versus more of we're here to try and make this more accessible. We're here to train people.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of those buzzwords, but then on the back end of it, it's just kind of, well, they're there to do that, but they're also there to get more money and more.
Well,
people.
yeah, I was going to say, you hear the buzzwords, and then those buzzwords get followed with a $40,000 bill. Like seminary's expensive. It just is.
Yeah.
Even some of the seminaries that I think I think doing a good job at trying to keep costs down, it's still expensive. Like it's still like I can't I couldn't afford going back to school right now, and I've thought about it. Right.
Yeah.
And if Ed has his way, I will go back. But this is what I'll say. If you're a pastor and you have the mentality of, not thinking, seminary is required. Yeah. Obviously I agree. I don't think it's required. Or maybe you're someone who wants training, but you're not in a season or a place or a time where seminary is an option for you. I get that too, right? I would say this to the guys that are kind of against seminary, right? Either practically or philosophically. I would say that you better be a reader. You better be able to be self-taught. You better be self-disciplined, because if you're going to, move away from the seminary option, that's fine. But you can't just stay in a realm of being uneducated as a pastor. I don't think we have that option. And I think there's a lot of lazy pastors out there when it comes to continued education, right? Yeah. Because, again, just like any trade, you have to be continuing to learn your craft. You can't get complacent. You can't just, okay, I've arrived now. I can put a sermon together. This is all I'm ever going to be able to do. It's not true, right? We don't treat the Word of God that way. We shouldn't treat the office of elder pastor that way. So if you're not going to, go the seminary route, I totally get it. Again, it's not for everybody. But you better be a reader. And you better be someone that's self-disciplined enough to train yourself and utilize the resources that are out there, because the resources are out there. There's a lot of great stuff that even some seminaries will put out for free. That courses that they'll make available to you. That they don't go toward any degree, but they're for personal enrichment. Utilize those. Utilize some other resources that are out there that will help you. Hey, here's how you put a sermon together more effectively, right? You want to be a better communicator behind the pulpit, right? Here's how you do that. Here's some practical tools. Utilize those, right? The worst thing that you can do is just stay stagnant and stay complacent. That's not an option, right? So either utilize the tools that are available and be a self-disciplined, self-taught person. I think that's great. Or utilize the structure that's out there. Whatever option. There's options there. Just don't be be complacent, and don't be satisfied with just staying with where you are, because especially if you're going to take your job seriously at bringing up the next generation of pastors and elders that Lord willing will take your place, they're going to have questions, and you should be equipped to answer those questions. That is part of training up and passing the torch, right? So that next generation of faithful men that you have entrusted the truth to can then teach the generation under them, right? Yeah. So let's not be ignorant. Let's not be lazy. But yeah, be intentional. And yeah, I do think the best and most effective is when those men are trained by the elders in their local church, because then not only do you get the knowledge, but you get the practical outlet to utilize that knowledge that you've been taught. And there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Jack. Why don't you get us out of here, man?
Yeah, I think that's all she wrote. Ladies and gentlemen, if you appreciate Josh and I's efforts to make the local church central to the believer's life in training and theological education as well, too, in these dynamics, and have questions, comments, concerns, answers, episode ideas, whatever you may have, and you want to throw them our way, you can do that through the sociables, if you will. You can do that through contacting us through the Meta, the Facebook, if you will. The Instagram goes well with chocolate, marshmallow, sprinkle a little heresy on top of that, or the sociable formerly known as Twitter X. And you can find us all at the tag @ReformatoryPod. Josh, you can tell the lovely people how they might support us further in our endeavors here.
You can support the Reformatory in multiple ways. If you want to watch this episode as well as listen to it, does make the Instagrams go down a little easier. Head on over to YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. As the kids say, helps it get out to more people. You can rate this podcast and review this podcast. And last but not least, we have a Patreon. That's where Jack and I are going right now. We're going to go record some bonus eps for our people, and it's $5 a month. Through thick, through thin, through hell or high water, it has stayed $5, and we're not moving it. It's like the Costco hot dog; it's staying right where it's at.
Yes.
The quality is not diminishing, but the price is staying where it's at. And if you want some of that all access goodness, you can head on over there. And if you choose to do so, our pledge to you is that your name shall be hallowed.
Hallowed, sir. Hallowed.
Hallowed through the halls of the podcast. That is our pledge to you. We thank you all for listening, and we will catch you on the next step of the Reformatory.